welcome to Daily Dispatch powered by HSBC. I'm Priya Sheth, and joining me on this conversation is Akshay Munjal from Hero Vired. Thank you very much, Akshay, for joining us today. I want to talk about the whole edtech space. It's really boomed over the last couple of months, specifically amid this pandemic. We've been seeing so many new companies mushroom. We've been seeing the kind of exponential growth that existing companies have been tracking. But you at Hero Vired are looking at a very niche segment, which is education for working professionals. So tell us a little bit about what's been the kind of adoption, because upskilling has suddenly become a very, very important part of everybody's lives now.
Great. Thanks for having me, Priya. Very relevant question. How is edtech, especially for skills for working professionals, how that's shaping up? Like you rightly said, with COVID, there was a huge boost for edtech. A lot of these technologies, companies already existed. And in the 2 years of the pandemic, they became mainstream. But the other thing which the pandemic really did was it really showed people where they are. Either you adapt or you perish. A lot of technologies came in, a lot of new processes were set up. And the companies which adapted were the ones who survived, and not only survived, thrived also. So I think pandemic is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. And with this, I feel a lot of new skills are required. Today, you look at work from home. You can work anywhere. So suddenly the world has become flat. You have Indians now who could be working for, a company which is halfway across the world, but never visited there. So that segment now, how do you upskill that segment? You look at education before the pandemic. Indian education is very insular. It's very closed, inward looking. You look at the IITs, IIMs, there are pockets of excellence in India. But if you look at a global ranking, unfortunately for us, they don't consistently rank in the top 100, either the IITs or the IIMs. So, and now with the world becoming flat and people want skills, we feel companies like Hero Vired, with our collaboration with leading global institutions, are able to play that role and fill that gap. Today, your skills don't need to be benchmarked with the best in the city or best in the country. Today, what you need is what is the best globally. And I think that is where Hero Vired plays. And we've seen a huge positive movement in the segment. Because the segment essentially starts from, anywhere with 22 years old, it goes up from 22 to 50-year-old. It's a very large audience sitting there.
Right. Thanks for that, Akshay. I want to talk a little bit about the kind of growth that you've seen over the last couple of months. If you could give us some numbers in terms of how the growth momentum really shaping up, over the last couple of months.
Sure. The company was launched, actually, Hero Vired was launched in April 13th last year. And our first program went live in July last year. From starting our first program in July last year, we closed the month of March. We did only in March alone, we did a revenue of upwards of 5 crore. So for us, it's really been from zero to upwards of 30 crore annually.
Right. Interesting growth trajectory. Tell us in terms of the courses, which are the courses that are high in demand? What are people looking at in terms of upskilling, and which niches are really the hot niches right now?
Today, you look at for most edtech players, the majority of your revenue, majority of your learners are sitting in data or tech programs. They account for upwards, both of them put together, data and tech, for any large edtech player would be upwards of 70% of revenue. While for us also, we also offer programs in data science, programs in technology. We just launched a program in management, in strategic management in CAD. We have an upcoming program in gaming. So while we want to be there where the bulk is, we are also working on niche areas where we feel have huge potential for the next 5 years.
Right. In terms of collaborations, and you briefly alluded to the INSEAD collaboration that you all have done, are you looking at far more global collaboration kind of pipeline out there?
Absolutely. So right now we work with MIT, with Singularity University, with edX, with Babson. We just signed a collaboration with INSEAD. And over the next month or two, there'll be another two, three interesting partnerships which are in the works. And these are essentially really the top five, top 10 globally. So our own view is that we need to really bring global education in India at scale. It just doesn't have to be what is best in India. It has to be what is best globally. And I think Indians deserve that. And by offering that at scale, imagine the positive change you can bring about in a country.
Right. While we have so many players already in the space, we've got a big giant like Upgrad also that's catering to the same segment of working professionals. Do you think that, having such a strong competitor in the market could perhaps be one big challenge that you could face? And how would you be differentiating your offerings?
Great question. If you look at edtech per se, till about a couple of months ago, there were 10,000 registered edtech companies in India. So while you mentioned Upgrad, there is Great Learning, which is owned by BYJU'S now, Aeroditers, and there are a lot more. But I think the sector is so large. If I give the analogy of the number of education institutes in India, there are 1,000 plus universities. There are more than 1 lakh colleges in India. And even after that, we talk about, Indians are not employable, they're not getting the right skills. I think similarly within edtech, you'll have fragments. Now within exec ed also, you'll have fragments. Some people would look at more mass programs at different price points. For us, really, we want to collaborate with the best and we want to offer maximum live education, live teaching. So we are a premium player in that segment. So I think this segment will also, overall edtech, will get fragmented. And
Right.
there is no one company which can play all caters of edtech.
Absolutely. I had one final question, Akshay, before I let you go on the kind of growth targets that you're chasing. What's the target out there? Have you set some goals that you can share with us?
I think we are looking at least a 3x growth in this year. So what we closed last financial year at, we are really aspiring to do 3x of that in this year. And I think that's eminently doable.
And in terms of number of learners, is there a metric out there in terms of how many people you'd like to onboard onto the platform?
For us, it's a little difficult because we have three segments actually. You have B2C, which is a customer, we have B2B, which are companies, and B2I and institutions. When we look at these three segments, the learners, when we add them together, would easily be above 2,500, is what we're targeting this financial year.
All right, interesting perspective. Thanks so much, Akshay, for joining us today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and we wish you all the very best in your journey going forward. Thanks for your time.
Great.